Hello everyone, ZKG back again with another video, and I'm here with that guy from across the pond who is, just too busy working out all the time. But he's got some ideas for U32, and we know that's going to be so much fun. But how's it going, JPT? How's it going?
Well, first of all, we won't go into it, but you know what I think about this U32 anyway.
Oh,
But it's going to be a little bit of fun just to have a bit of a test of how the new season's going to be like. So I think it's time just to have a little trial and error, try some things. Annoyingly, this does affect our ranking, but still, just try
yeah.
stuff out.
We
So
were trying to knock that out, but it's affecting
I
the
was
ranking,
hoping for
so try
something
and do else.
brand new this U32, like a different, more rooms or just different things to trial. But we got the free rooms back again, so what can you do?
Yeah, but first room, glass cannon. Having that with the rules itself, you spawn in with safeguard, you get 90% max health, you get 100% damage, you get 5 death proofs on spawn for strikers. For fortifiers, if you spawn in with an actual taunt, which gives you a lot of freedom. That one gives you a lot of freedom because you could put fortifier on anybody, and boom, now they spawn in with a taunt, which is amazing. However, the other part, well, not so much. The 90%, negative health part there kind of ruins you unless there was some character with like a billion health, and then you'd be fine, but that ain't happening. But I don't know if I'm going to put anybody as strikers in this room. I do have some characters in there that do have strikers, but ignore it for the moment. I'm just going, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about just throwing this as a regular room, not really utilizing the striker ISO, but more so using the fortifier ISO, so I can throw a taunt on anybody, and it doesn't matter if they require characters or not. It won't matter. If I throw fortifier on Man Thing here, boom, he's gonna taunt, which is usually what happens anyway when you have Night Stalkers. But I like Thanos in here because hey, if you trigger him, he could be a pain. He doesn't hit as hard as before, but he could hit you hard if hey, something bad happens and he finally takes a turn, hits you, boom. And I'm throwing Mysterio in there only to prolong the match, that he drops his two little buddies there and you got to kill them off. And that turn might save me. Might go well for my match. So shouldn't be too bad. But what are your thoughts on room 1?
So especially with the room that you come up with, like as we've spoken about it, this whole thing's gonna be very heavily offense. So it is a case of every single efficiency point count, and like you've got with like Mysterio for one, the whole extra minions as well as the respawn mechanic he's got on there and the extra life and all that. I think that's a good idea because it just takes that one extra, two extra turns that they're gonna have to hit that room on with, and who knows, you might win by a point. Like what happened with me in the last season, I won by 1 point
I know, you lucky bastard. You
on round
That was
three.
great. You won by 1 point. That's
Yep.
great.
So it something like that in this tactic here could be a very much a way to win. So yeah, having this type of characters, what you have, I think is it can work. And like I said, because it's gonna be so heavy offense we got, there's not really anything I think you can ever set that's gonna be like, yep, this is unbeatable. Yep, this is amazing. So yeah, I personally don't really see any problem with it. Um, I think you said about not setting strikers because yeah, the root I believe the 90% less health does hurt you so much more than gaining 100% extra damage. But you've got the blade there, and of course we know how much he damage he does. If someone does mess up the speed and he does his ult turn one, he could wipe three characters just like that. So it could work.
It could work. Um, room 2. You know what? I like Astral. I might switch out Moondragon for somebody else, maybe some other character, just to see what happens. I'm not sure yet. but Astral seems like a good choice for this, basically for the room rules, which is on that character's turn, attack 15%, attack themselves for 50% of that character's max health, and it reduces them by that amount as well. So usually Astral's pretty, Astral's slow. Astral really is slow. Most teams can, lap them for a second, but by the time they do lap them, if they don't kill them, Astral tends to go. And I'm hoping that by the time Astral goes, they'll that 15% damage hit might help them out a little bit, where you go ahead and knock them out. And then if somebody does die from Astral and they don't go after Doctor Strange can revive them. Boom. Yay. Great. So that happens. Now Doctor Strange brought them back for a couple extra turns for you, and now you got to beat them again, which is another efficiency sink. So I'm not fully sold on Moondragon just yet. I might switch her around or switch something, but for the moment, I mean, Astral will pull something hopefully fast. If not, Astral could pretty much wipe you if they go tunneled around down like the right character, and then you're just like, well, now I got to back out. Well, I might have won because I'm planning not to back out. So, your thoughts on Room 2?
Yeah, the way I see Room 2, it is you want a slow team or a team that can do passive damage. So having a team like Astral, they are very much a bounce back king team, because you're like, oh, let's try and beat this team down. Oh, great, I'm run out of all my abilities, and now it's their turn. And then Shadow King heals up. He could remove your positive effects, or he could use his special to do all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's one of those. As soon as they stop popping off, your team can die pretty quickly. And if they are slow, and your team and the offensive team is fast, and they've already done a bunch of their turns, they've already lost 15% of their health anyway. So, yeah, I think potentially using Astral in this room could work. So, I personally like it.
Yeah, I'm just going for, hey, hopefully Astral could do some big damage, and if you can get Ancient One's special off, now she's putting counters out there. So if they're still around and you're still around, and you can start attacking them again, now you're gonna have everybody attacking you for a counter. So they could probably wipe you on that one, and they're very, very scary once they get to their second lap of hits, if they get past the counter. So Astral can be scary. They're slow, but they are scary. They can be beat, but depends on who you're going to try to bring into them, because you want to go quickly, but that might hinder you a little bit. So, Room 3, I know everybody's tired of it. I know you're tired of it. You just want to see this team go away, but it is, yeah. I don't even know how to describe it. Illuminati. Squatch and Odin in this room to go ahead and do some wicked damage. But this room rule does make them a little bit scary, because you kind of want them to go first. If they don't go first and you go first, you lose 5,000% focus and then 50% of your damage. So even if you go in there with the biggest hitters that you got, it probably not going to do as normally as you would, the previous season. So I'm thinking this would probably be okay. Illuminati's going to go, and when they go, they tend to just do a buttload of damage and mess around. They could tunnel somebody and take out the wrong character, and then your whole squad is just messed up from there. But I think it's a safe play. It's not the greatest, but it's a safe one. There are counters to this, but would those counters be as effective as they would in this room? What you think about it?
Sorry, you put me to sleep there. talking about Odin and Illuminati, Jesus Christ, that puts me to sleep all the time. But no, we had a bit of back and forth for this one, and I personally, I don't entirely like them in Room 3, because to me, they're a fast team, and you're kind of losing out on some of the room rule, the use of it. And if you want to set Odin Illuminati, I personally would say put them in one and then use another team, which when we go to my stuff, you might see of what I'm thinking of doing. But yeah, so then you've got two rooms that can potentially mess them up, or make it harder for them to mess up, should we say? But yeah, ultimately there are a lot of counters out there at the moment for them, especially now that Mephisto is going to be heavily used on offense, I believe. Yeah, I've seen potentially some rooms for Mephisto to be used on in this U32 on defense, but ultimately because of null, people are more likely can be using Mephisto on offense, and Mephisto on offense is quite a big counter to Odin Illuminati. So yeah, it's we'll see, but yeah, it can work in this room. For what you were saying, it would still work regardless. But yeah, just to me, out of the two rooms, I would probably pick this team in room 1 and 3.
All right. Well, if we go over back to your defense, or we're looking at it, so we see all three rooms there, and you got some hidden there, but those TCPs look ridiculous. For room one, what are you looking at? How are you
So
picturing
room
this?
one, I've gone for a bit of a crazy team. More so, I want to try and be a bit of an efficiency sink, and the characters I got in here, especially two of them, can be brick walls. So I've gone for Thanos, Invisible Woman, Cap Sam, Ultimus, and Miss Marvel Classic. So using the room rule, the taunting with the fortifiers, I've got Miss Marvel Classic and Sam as fortifiers, so they gain their taunt on spawn. And we all know what Miss Marvel's like with her taunt, especially when she gets her charge mechanic. She is very annoying and she can take a lot of hits. And so there's a few things here. So for one, yes, she doesn't get a charge mechanic easily without Kahori, but when she loses her taunt, she gains counterattacks. And as soon as she does one counterattack, she gains her charge. And then if she can get her taunt off, there's her taunt and there's her brick wall activated. You've got Mr. Blue Guy behind her, the King, Ultimus. And one thing that I saw earlier when I was having a bit of play about the team, he's a Kree. Miss Marvel Classic's a Kree. With his passive, he gives 20% extra health to the brick wall already, as well as block chance as well. So you've now got a brick wall with more health and block chance, alongside defense up from Invisible Woman on spawn, and all of her charge mechanics and crazy stuff. So there's part one. Then part two, you've got Ultimus with his ult. So if he gets a turn and she's got any debuffs on herself, she then flips. He then flips all the debuffs on her, and then there's some additional positive effects for her. Cool. And as well, if anyone brings a fortifier into this room, of course, some teams can counter his speed, but if his fortifier comes through, he can snap off delete potential, or at least do heavy damage. And then, of course, you got over here, you got Mr. Thanos, who is another who's an annihilator who combines with Optimus also. Also, he can do that flipping stuff and bit of synergy you got there. So he can then have a bit of protection that way. And I decided to give it a try because of the extra damage. Is if you drop him, that extra 100% damage on his passive could delete someone. So, and then Cap Sam, we also know him as the second brick wall. Him with the taunt could be hella annoying. So this is either a heavy damage team or an efficiency thing. That's how I see it as. So that's my idea for room one.
All right. What about room two? How you playing this one?
Room 2, because of, like I said, you want either a slow team or a retaliation team, so a team that does passive damage. I've gone for this, the Bob standard. Uh, Wonder Revenge, I think people have been calling this team. So everyone knows what it's like. You've got all of the crazy buffs that happen once Quicksilver dies or drops like 50%. You've got the safeguard from Morgan and the health, and then Scarlet Witch doing all of her retaliations. And I've decided to put Agatha in this team as well, just because she does some crazy stuff if you let her pop off. And she also can put people in stealth, a little bit extra protection. So you got a heal from mechanic from her, as well as the stealth protection. And when we saw it in the Envoy tournament, we saw this team not being a walkover. Like, he was taking out some heavy hitters. So who knows? That's what I thought. Keep it simple, but a team that can still catch people off.
All right, room 3, the nice negative, lower the focus and then minus 50% damage. So how you gonna just mess with somebody's head in this one?
So again, I think this is a room rule that's to be very exciting for this season coming up, because I reckon there's going to be quite a few different ways you can go by this room. And like I was saying, that I think this is a room that you want to try to utilize with the how the mechanics work. So again, another slow team that I'm going for, but also there's a bit of a catch with this. If you got the slow team, but then also you've got Mr. Sus in the middle, a fast character potentially. if if someone doesn't bring the likes of like Immortal or Starjammers or Cabal, um, he can snap off, and we've seen Sus being able to destroy Cabal if he actually starts taking turns. And remember, the biggest part here: lower their focus by 5,000%. That mechanic alone can affect a lot of people or a lot of teams into utilizing their kit effectively. One in particular, Cabal. Vulnerables, if they don't land, what happens? Cabal can do what he wants. And like I said, he can run laps over Cabal sometimes, depending on who gets targeted. And it could be a trap. So that's how I'm seeing it for that side. And then you've got Ares, again, another slow character, but also he's removing Safeguard from spawn. So if any of my characters start doing any of their stuff, Sus in particular, either a basic or, you got Hench one who can flip stuff. So you've got many flip activating abilities. Having no Safeguard can ruin someone's day. And then you've got the 3 Astral members, 1 who are slow, 2 you've got Ancient One who's annoying. She can do big damage, counter attacks like you were mentioning earlier, and putting counters on everyone also. And you got Shadow King. You know what he's like. He's just a powerhouse when he starts snapping off. And then you got Strange there for the backup in terms of reviving, annoying as well, tanky, got a bit of everything. So that's my thought process and
Not bad.
trial in room 3.
Well, I mean, the overall thing for the overall sentiment of U32 is that not too many people are happy about it. Not too many people want to deal with it, but we have to. 3 rooms is not the greatest choice that these guys give, but we have it, so we might as well make the best of it. This U32 is it's basically offense heavy. So basically, you're just trying to find a way to stall the opponent even by 1 or 2 turns, and that might actually win you the match, because you took less turns than they do overall, and boom, you win by efficiency. And I think that's the safest route to go, no matter what you're trying to do, whether it's put a whole bunch of brick walls somewhere or put a couple of characters that can make sure they just draw it out just a turn or two, and that might turn it around. I kind of foresee a lot of the matches here going or winning by really under 10 points, because
Yeah.
people are going to know how to finally mix them up, and then you're going to have to mix up halfway through U32 and then go, oh crap, I got to switch on my defense, so maybe I can do something different, and they won't, tunnel me, but it might, and that might be a problem. But hey, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody put Starjammers on defense. I really wouldn't, but it is what it
You're going to
is.
see everything. You'll see Starjammers, you'll see Mephistos, you'll see, like we've seen with your room, Odin Illuminati. We're going to see Null on defense.
Please don't put
So-
Mephisto on defense. Please don't. He just stands
It's-
there. He just stands there for a second. He might do a special, but he's not going to help you. Please don't. Don't do it. I don't want to laugh at you. Please don't. Please don't.
Yep.
But
So that's what's going to happen. I personally, if any devs are watching out there, you've done U32 twice now, or this one coming up, should we say, with 3 rooms. Try something else. Test it, trial things, have fun with it. That's the whole point of U32. Have fun. So please, can we have something drastically different for the next one? And what people have been banging on about a lot, 8 rooms. That's what I would love to see, and it's the best time to trial something like that.
Yeah, there's not.
So,
there's a lot of characters you can put in 8 rooms, but for right now we're stuck with 3. I'm going to be somewhat excited about all this, but not really. But it is what it is. But
the one thing with U32, like it was for the last time, first week U32 was actually good because no one knew what to set on defense. Everyone was seeing lots of really crazy stuff, and people were moving stuff around. So it was a way of seeing something fresh every time, every opponent you had. Of course, by the balls up they had, and then having to run it back, everyone knew what to set on defense. So literally, that whole second week was the same 3 teams or very similar teams, and just like, oh, I'm bored.
Yeah.
So at least with this week, it hopefully will be a variety of what we see. So
I'm hoping for it, but you guys know what to do. Like, share, subscribe at the bottom. Click some buttons. Do that. I'll be streaming on Twitch, so we'll be trying to stream at least all 5 days. I'm going to try. If not, definitely it'll be a lot to do on Saturday. So it'll probably be a double duty on Saturday and then right there Monday morning to end it off. But I think this is going to be an interesting time. I hope everybody enjoys it, but I just got to thank JBT for jumping out real quick. And we might do another video, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it goes halfway through, just to see if we see defenses really changing or not, or if we're changing it because we just see, our rooms are just getting pummeled and they're not giving us any, extra, efficiency points or not. But we'll see how it goes. But I got to thank JPT for jumping on, even though it's late over there across the pond.
it is late, yep. But you know what I'm like. I'm from the future.
Yeah,
I've got to be
here. All right, guys. We will see you in the next one. Like, share, subscribe at the bottom. Let us know what's happening. Let us know how you failed or you didn't or whatever. But until then, me and JPT rolling out. Deuces.
Later.